Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. As always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So I'm coming back today, sadly, with the last of the special days. I've worked through the whole kit now. Probably saved one of the best for last with this wedding day wishes, but I didn't really save it. I just worked through the kit as I'd put it away, so I didn't know what was coming up next. And actually, if I'm honest with you, I did find it easier to work that way, because usually what I do is I pick my favourite ones out, and then the ones that are left are not always as much my favourite, so I haven't got as much enthusiasm to work through them. But I did find by just pushing myself, a little surprise each time, I did find it more exciting to work in a way. So different way for me to work, but I enjoyed it. But this is the beautiful wedding day wishes. You can see it's packed full with little toppers on here and big ones. We've got this beautiful car with the wedding cake and the arch in the background. We've got champagne glasses, so that could be anniversary, it could be congratulations, it could be anything, it doesn't have to be wedding. You've got the beautiful cake, again that could be anniversary. You've got these sort of bride's shoes, ribbon, your sort of presents bundle there. And then you've got this beautiful dove with the 2 rings. You've got sentiments wise, you've got congratulations. We've got this bigger one wishing you a lifetime of love and happiness. Cheers to the happy couple. And this border has got just married all along it with the roses. And obviously that's foiled because it's Hunkydory and they do these things beautifully. So your foiled cardstock, you've got those beautiful foiled doves on there, but you've also equally got that printed corner there, which is super useful. Just put that to the back. And then we've got the car with the rose bouquet at the front. You've got the ribbon and the rose border on the top and the bottom. And this beautiful sort of leafy in the middle. Beautiful greens. And then because I got the bigger kit, I've got 2 of the inserts as well, which are those beautiful doves. And that in itself, you could put on a card and get away with, because it's just beautifully softly printed. But that is what we're going to be playing with today. So I'm bringing in a piece of 5 by 14 cardstock. So normally what I would do is make a 5 by 7 card out of this. But what I thought I'd do slightly differently, for me anyway, in this size, is to do sort of a sort of step card. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep the front step the same as I would on my other card. So I'm going to score at 2 and at 4. Just give those a good score down. And then what I'm going to do is turn that around and score at 5. So I'm only turning it around because I've got the small board. If you've got the bigger board, you would go 2, 4 and 9. So we've got spaces of 5, 5, 2 and 2. And just going to come in and put these scores in with my little squasher downer. There it is. Burnishing tool really, but it squashes the paper down, which is, or the cardstock down, which is. And I find I get a really crisp fold with one of these. I mean, this does do it a lot crisper on a flatter mat than anywhere else. But this, I think it's like a porcelain one, non found from somewhere. But we're going to end up with our little step card that's different to the other one, because obviously the other one would be, the steps would be 4 by 6 and 2 by 6. And here we've got 5 by 5 and 2 by 5. Okay, let's bring in my trimmer. And the beautiful thing about that is by folding it that way, you could still use your Miri mats if you wanted to. But I've got a piece of gold Miri in the A4 here, so I'm going to use that today. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking, let's just turn that around. I'm going to do 2 notches under the 5. And then I'm going to go, let's do the small one first actually, 2 notches under the 2. So we've got a little one there. And we should get this out of it as well and have some left over. We're going 2 notches under the 5. Okay, so we've got a piece there for another day. And then I think I'm going to come in with this one here, the car. And I'm going to start by cutting that at 4 3/4. And it's going to be nice and easy cut down here, because I'm going to go 1 3/4. Actually, let me just take 1/4 of an inch off the bottom, maybe. You just want to try and keep those roses in on this small piece here, and I need that to be 1 3/4. So let's just take another little 1/4 of an inch. So we're at 1/2 inch so far. And those you can keep as borders. So now when I go 1 3/4, it's just above that foliage. So that's going to go onto there like so. And then I'm going to mimic that. So we took 1/2 inch off that bottom. So I'm going to do the same on the top. And then I'm going to turn that round to 4 3/4. So really we're just making that back up, but chopping out some of the middle and narrowing the ends. And you've got these pieces here, they could easily be borders. So the glues I'm going to be using today, most of this is cardstock, so I'm going with the Callao all-purpose glue. This is the same as the Hunkydory construction glue in that they are both made, they are an alcohol based glue. Also going to be using my Callao tacky glue. This is a sort of PVA, sorry it's a bit of glue over the top. I was crafting a storm up this weekend doing samples for the design team. What was I saying? Oh right, yeah, so this is a sort of PVA water-based glue, ideal for card, not so great sometimes for paper, depending on the thickness of the paper. Because of the water content, sometimes it can make papers bubble up a little bit. Sometimes you can get away with it if you do like an ultra thin coat on it, but it's one of those things you just have to be super aware of. Okay, so let's shut up talking and let's get making this card. And just going to pop a little bit of tacky glue in those corners. That's what I use it for. And actually, it doesn't always do what I use it for now, but because of the conditions in here, with it being a little cooler, with it being winter. But why I use the two is, so the alcohol glue for me is the best glue in the world. And if somebody said to me you can only ever have one glue, that would be the glue I would go with, because I am a wet glue girl. I like the ability to move that around and get my borders how I want them. Problem with the wet glue, especially the the all-purpose glue, sorry, is it does have, because it's got that movable element to it, so because it's wet basically, it does mean it's got a longer sort of what I call a going off time. So, you know, sort of by going off I mean setting hard so that it's not going to move anymore. Which is, you know, I use it because I want that longer time to get things where I want it to be. But sometimes, especially since I've been making videos, I don't want that time to be as long, because I really want to be able to move on to, this doesn't look very straight, does it? No, I think maybe when because I had to double cut the card, I think maybe I've just come in a little bit there, but it won't be noticeable when this is up, so I'm not going to worry about it. What was I saying? Bear with me, I'm just going to cough. Sorry. Yeah, so what I was saying is, because when I'm making videos, what I want to do is move on to the next bit. So before I made videos, probably what I would do is set this aside, let that glue set, go and get a drink, go to the toilet, you know, just have a little break for 5 minutes, maybe even work on another card, maybe work on my layers, you know, anything like that. And I would leave that to sort of set. But by using the tacky glue in the corners, because that is a wet glue, but it's got a shorter wet time, so it goes off a lot quicker. Like within, you get a little bit of wiggle room time, but not much. So I've got the benefit of both really, and that will set that quicker for me, and I can move on confidently on my video without having to sort of stop and come back, basically. So, you know, in what I'm saying really is, if you're looking at this as a video, you're starting out and you want to know what sort of glues to use, these are great glues. Obviously with the alcohol glue, you just have to be a little bit careful around foil card because it can take the shine off, but you might not necessarily need both of these glues. They're great to have both. Just grab my knife because that one's been a little bit stubborn. But if you were going to pick any, I would say the alcohol one is a great one if you are just starting. Okay, let me just trim that down because that pip was just being a little bit stubborn. We've got a bit of fluff there. Okay, so now we can come to these toppers, and I'm thinking that big sentiment, wishing you a lifetime of love and happiness, is going to be going across the bottom there. A little stubborn pip there. There we go. So we've got a bit of fluff there, so must not have had, the machine must not have pressed through quite in that corner. That does happen sometimes with any die cutting company, so you know, you're not always going to have, no company always has 100% success, but Hunkydory must be 99.9. I think I've only ever had one kit where it wasn't quite cut through. Right, so this is what we've got there. So I'm thinking, I'm chatting away, I was thinking, because this is quite a long topper, so this is why I've gone for a 5x7, so you're looking at a 6-inch topper, but I can come across, let me put that down. I still want to stay in my little 7-inch mark, but I'm going to have that a little higher, so that's going to come up a bit further. I want this sentiment across the bottom, which is going to go there. But I also want to bring in this just married. So let me just quickly chop that out. And I'm only going to use a bit of this, so hopefully I might be able to get it on more than one card. That to the side, and let's bring our little tray in. Now the first thing I always do is just straighten off the end, because however I cut it, it's never quite straight. And then because this piece here was a 4 3/4 square, I just want that to go across the inside, so I'm just going to take that to 4 3/4. You can see I've got a decent sized piece there. It's just under 6, about 5.5. So I'm definitely going to be able to use that. And really what I could do is just chop that and have it just behind, but this is not what I have done. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have that across there. And then we'll have that frame on the top. So we're just going to see a bit of that just married there on the corner. Okay, so now what we want to do is start to bring in some layers. So what I'm going to do first of all is just put some tacky glue here. I could use my dotty tape pen, but I'm going flat on this one. So again, let me just bring that in because I don't want to go over that 7-inch. Do want it quite near the top, so let's just put that nice and straight, and then I can use my mat, and I'll also use this one here, so I know that's 2. And all I'm doing is just looking at the mark there, just making sure that that is staying straight on my topper, and it is, so that's straight. Now what I can do once that's dried is just come in a little bit behind there and add a little bit of glue if I want to, a bit more glue. So I'm going to use some 1mm pads. I'm going to use up these ones from Hunkydory I was playing with over the weekend. So I'm going to go with 1mm pads on here. This is just purely to use up this little pack. I find the longer they stay out in the open, sometimes the stickier they get. So sometimes if you do get problems with them sticking to your fingers, it's usually because they've got quite sticky from being out in the air. So what I would say is just maybe put them back in a packet if you want to, or just take one out at a time. The packet, try and keep them enclosed and temperature controlled. Okay, just holding that up, so yeah, it's straight, but every now and then it just catches my eye. Okay, so we said we're going to come up nice and high with this. Now I know that this is going to come over the top, so what I can do is just put maybe 1 or 2 pads here and then the rest up there. And I am going to use, have I got some Hunkydory 2mm ones that I started? No, they're 1. See, I'm devil for starting new ones when I don't need to. No, okay, so let's use some of these ones then. Okay, these are the Fix-It ones. So I'm just going to pop a little row along there. And then we want a nice amount to support on the top. I'll just grab some more. Let's bring that in. So I keep them in there because they do unravel and stick to each other. So not only that, it does stop me getting over sticky. So let's just pop some more there. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing that I do for all my other pads and just put a little coating of tacky glue on. So that just gives me a little bit of wiggle room time if I should happen to get that topper on not quite straight, or I'm not quite happy, I want to move it, or some other disaster befalls me. Just gives me that little bit of wiggle room time. Now I did say I want to go nearer the top, so I'm not looking for an equal distance all the way around on this occasion. I'm looking for a tighter bit at the top, and then it will be equal on the left and the right. So it's not far off being where it would normally be, but it's just that little bit higher. Okay, now while I've got those 2mm ones out, I will pop some on the back of here. We'll have this nice and proud. I'm kind of thinking if my mum was getting married, she would like this, all these greens, because green was her favourite colour. And there we go, to there. Just a little bit of fluff there, let's get rid of that. And then I'm going to pop that nicely across there. I think that's about even, left and right. Is it straight though? Ruler says it is. So either the ruler's lying to me or it is. But that is going to be as it is there. Now the last thing I think we need is going to be some gems. Now, could go with some like AB ones because they have got that green tint to them. But I think I did have, here we are, some nice light green ones. I think I might go with these ones. These are nail gems, came from Temu or AliExpress. So 1, 2, 3, and my little tool for picking up is gone. Where have you gone? Why have you left me? Let's go with, this is a little thing that came with the gems. Little picky up tool. Let's go with the smaller ones up here actually. And sometimes just these little gems, you know, any little gem really, just adds that little bit of finishing touch to something. I mean, it looked nice before, but now you've got that bit of sparkle on there. It just elevates it again. And then what I'm going to do is come down here, and I'm going to have that larger one. Get that one down, and there's a smaller one there as well. And that is going to be my finished card. I know where that tool is. It must have fallen on the floor. I did hear something. But that is that finished card. So it's going to stand like so. Difficult for me to show you on camera, but I will give it a shot. There you go. You can see it's a little bit bigger than the normal 6x6 it ends up being. But I kind of like that. We'll do that again, definitely, especially with those longer toppers. But that's card number 1, and I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for my second card, I'm going to do one of my all-time favourite cards, which is going to be the off-centre gatefold. Perfect when you've got a smaller topper like there are on here, especially when the cardstock is printed and gorgeous. So I'm just going to take a piece of 6x12 300 GSM cardstock, and I'm going to start by scoring at the 4-inch mark. Love that. And then again at the 2-inch. So basically you can put your numbers at any point along there, and you're just going to keep 6 inches, which is going to be the back of your card. You could have a proper gatefold where you'd have 3 and 3. You could have 1 here and 5 here. You know, loads of ways to mix that up and you know, make those different sort of shapes. So I'm just going to give those a good little burnish down. I tend to prefer this little smaller panel on the right hand side, but if you want it that way around, you can do. You know, and this sort of style would be great for invitations as well. If you're making sort of party invitations, wedding invitations, you could have whatever your design is there, and then all the information on the inside. You could also have it that way if it's an invitation, if it doesn't necessarily have to stand. Okay, chatting, let's get on. So I'm going to take 2 6x6 gold Miri card pieces, Miri mats, I think they're called, 6x6 Miri mats. So I'm going to take 2 notches off 2 of the sides, and this is going to be for the inside of that card. So like I said, it was 6x6, so that is going to fit onto there. Then what I have done is taken that insert and I've cut that to 5 3/4 squares on so you just take, you know, 1/4 of an inch off. No, you don't, because you're cutting it out of a piece of A4. So 5 3/4, that's all I needed to say. Okay, so that's going to go on the inside there. You can see that looks really pretty. And then we are going to do the top pieces. So we've got a piece that's 4x6. So if I start by taking the 2 notches off the 6 and then turning it around, that's very important. I've forgotten to do that in past, and it wastes cardstock. So we'll do this smaller one first of all, which is 2 by 6. So we've already taken the 2 notches off the 6, and I'm going to take 2 notches off the 2. That will fit onto there. And then the other one, which is the 4 inches, so I'm going to take 2 notches off there. We've already taken the 2 notches off the 6, and that's going to fit onto there. And then we are going to come in to the foiled cardstock, and I'm going to start by cutting this down to 5 3/4. And I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to cut that to, actually what I'm going to do, let's take that 2 inch. So I'm going to cut this piece off at 1 3/4. So that's 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. So that should fit on there. Now I'm leaving this plain. You could emboss that, you could pop a piece of ribbon down it, you could put your peel-offs on it, anything like that. Now I want to reduce down this corner a little bit, because if I pop that on, I'm having it at the bottom, it's going to be a piece that's 3 3/4 square. So that's going to take up, if I put my on there, it's quite a big sort of page of it. So what I want to do is just reduce it down. Let's take 1/2 inch off, because we've got the room on here. And then what I should be able to do is cut that down to 1 3/4, 3 3/4. And now you can see that fits in there just a little better over that corner piece. That's a little longer, so it needs to be 5 3/4. And that is going to fit onto there like so. Okay, we've still got a decent sized piece of card here. Could be a border, could be almost another one of those. That is all of the cutting done. So let's come in and do some gluing. Now, because I'm using paper, like I said, that PVA glue can be a little bit hard on paper, can make it a little bit bubble up with the water content. So I'm just going to use the dotty tape pen on those corners just instead of that wet glue there. The alcohol glue is still fine because it's alcohol and it evaporates nice and quickly. But having those glue dots is perfect because you can actually move them. They don't they give you a bit of time to sort of peel things up and start again. Now it may curl the paper a little bit, but once you get that in the right place and stick it down, it is fine. So just trying to get these borders quite nicely. And the trouble is with the glue dots, well, with most other glues actually, is they do grab quite quick. So I haven't quite got as much wiggle room time as I would normally have. I'm going to leave that like that. I think that's probably about the best I'm going to get. I'm going to give it a good, I've given it a good press down just purely because I do want it to function as an insert, and I don't want the glue to sort of dry in any sort of blobs or anything, you know. You know what it's like when you're trying to write with something underneath the page, it's not easy. So, and then this can go in. Because I've gone into the back of that gold mirror card, which is card, I can use my normal glues and then we can pop that in. And that is nice and sorted. Now, the only thing you do need to make sure, obviously just line it up nicely, but just make sure you stay away from those score lines, because if you put any piece of card on the score line, what then happens is it doesn't want to fold as well. That's the inside done. Let's stop messing about with that now and move on to this one. So normal glues. Normal glues. I'm quite glad I've used all of this kit up, because normally I do buy it every year and I always have bits left over, or bits that I haven't used, or pages I haven't used. So to use it all up, I mean, I know a lot of these cards will probably end up going to charity. Might even try and put a few on it. See, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But you know, the point being, there's going to be cards there that I may not need, especially because, like, my circle of friends is super small. In fact, it's mostly family. So I don't have those connections with people that, you know, I wouldn't know 4 people that are getting married this year, for instance, and I am bound to make at least 4 from this kit, because I've made 4 from every other set in this special days collection, because it's really workable. So there is no way that I would know 4 people getting married this year. My sister might, my older sister, because her partner has a huge family, and no doubt she will have some, but yeah, so these will end up going to charity. I know I did 1,000 cards last year for charity, so I did really well. Now I think I might keep the dove, or shall I, because that dove is there. No, we'll use the dove. But you could equally come in with that small topper on there, this one here. You could equally come in just with a little cake, and then the sentiment, it would still look really nice. But I'm going with the larger one because we've already made that other bigger card. Oops. Got that out. There's no frames or anything, so it's nice and easy. And the other thing I do want is a sentiment. I'm going to go with this. We'll go with the congratulations. The cheers one has got the bottles on, so I'll try and keep that for that bottle. There. Okay, now I do want to trim this bottom because that pip just poking out a little bit. A little bit there. Okay, so I'm thinking down here, a couple of gems here and here. So because we still want this card to open, I'm only going to put foam pads on one side. And I'm going to have the sort of centre of that topper as my sort of marker where I want to put the pads. So I know if I don't go too close to that centre, so if I start by doing those, first of all, I'm going with these 2mm ones again. And there. And I've got another little sneaky peek video to film today. It's going to be different from the other ones because there won't be any making in it, because I was a bit time constricted over the weekend playing with this one, because there were so many ideas I had and I really wanted to get as many as I could done. So what I'm going to do is show you the beautiful things that are coming up, and then I'll show you the cards that I've made that will be collected tomorrow. So for this one I'm going to go a little smaller. I'm going to go with the 1mm one. So again, just using up these Hunkydory ones. Just to kind of try and tidy up my area. And then the next video that I'm, normal video, back to my the ones that I do every other day. So every other day, Hunkydory. Is going to be the new club gift, which I have to tell you, if you haven't got yours, it might be worth having a look. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but it is beautiful, and it looks lovely on the screen, but it's nothing to what it looks like in real life. It is really, really pretty. Okay, so is that straight? I really need to get a smaller one of these rulers. Just give that a little bit of a shot. Yep. There go my scissors. Right, I think I'm going to come back with these greens again, just because they did look so pretty on the other card. And then just to finish off, I think I'm going to go with one. No, we'll do two up there. Still haven't found that other one yet, mind you. I haven't really looked for it. We'll go for the big one and the medium one there. And these nail gems, they're different to other gems. I mean, they're very similar to the diamond sparkle ones, which are very sparkly, the Hunkydory ones, I have to say. But I'll try and bring in one of the other type of gems that I have, and you'll see the difference. These seem to have a light behind them, which is prettier. So if you are looking for some new gems, definitely nail gems are great. Let me just bring in some other gems and just show you the difference. It might help if you had one that was open. Here we go. There, look. So if I bring that card up close so you can see that, and then you look at the difference there. Can you see how the light really plays with the nail gems a lot more than it does with those? Which is why I do like them, I have to be honest. But that is that card finished. So let me just pop those back in there, otherwise they may go astray. But that is, I mean, look at that. That is really probably the prettiest card I've made in a while. It may just be the greens that are influencing me, but I really do think that looks special. But let's bring in our other card as well. So that's our little step card in the 5x7 size. If you want me to, I'll do a little template on that one. It is a simple score at that 2, 2 and 9, or you can turn it around and just score at 5. So it is a nice easy score. But if you are somebody that likes the templates, and to be honest I do, because sometimes if I'm struggling to think what sort of card to do, just going through my templates and then looking at what I've got in front of me, sometimes it really does prompt me to think, oh well, that would look fantastic on that style card. But let me know if you want one, I will do it for you, that's not a problem. But that's it for today. I've talked a lot today, so I do apologise for rambling on. But until next time, happy crafting. Bye.